he sat at the table waiting for her to come back. This is the marriage they celebrate. Tika Sumter, right? Her baby daddy is a white man, right? Unemployed white man, right? I think they got married, right? And she had to approach and flirt with him, tell his friend, yo, I like him, go tell him I like him. Still didn't react. She had to push the issue to even get him to respond and date her, right? Jodie Turner Smith dropped to one knee and proposed to Joshua Jackson, right? For him to leave her and go with Lupita Nyong'o. There's also rumors about him cheating on her with Lupita Nyong'o. Stacey Dash's husband, right, annulled their marriage. Before he annulled her marriage, when asked why, he said he was basically saying, I never meant to marry her. I was hypnotized into marrying her, right? Stacey Dash's husband is white as well. So a lot of people have these sentiments when they're talking about the black woman they got married with. But most of the times it seems that it's white men that didn't have no interest in these women who were these great, achieved. You could only know him as her husband. Same situation, and the women were the ones who were the chaser, and black women barely had any issue with this, right? Because the thing is not that she chased, is that black women can only chase white men, right? On a black woman wrote a book called How to Be Irresistible to White Men. Black women write books about swirling, getting white men. Black women had a white man appreciation day on Clubhouse, right? These women are pick me's for white men. The book Dating Divide shows that black women don't even have standards for white men. The book showed that they don't have a financial standard or a physical trait standard. So he could be a fat white dude with no money and they still want them. Whereas black men, they have to make a certain amount of money. And in a lot of cases, they need them to be 6 feet tall. So the problem is not that she chased and she's so great. It's the fact that she chased and she chased a black man, because none of these men were on the level, except for maybe Serena's husband, was on the level of Jonathan Owens. That the woman I just mentioned, none of them were on the level of Jonathan Owens, even with him being a NFL free agent, right? But they still chased him, and black women, for the most part, had no problem with it. I'll close right there.
He's not even on Jonathan Owens' level. Serena's husband. I just want to correct that.
I could see that too.
I definitely do agree with that. And I mentioned that earlier, that it's not the fact that she chased him or pursued him. It is the fact that he's a black man. Anybody else have something to say on that point before we go on to the next caller?
I probably can sort of agree on this, because I know the majority of people that are up in relationships actually date within their own race anyway. So like usually when folks actually have like this spooked ordeal, but like why is he actually responding in this manner? Why would they want to literally try to put their own business into like some people or some celebrities that haven't even met a dime in them? Like literally just worry about your own relationship and stop worrying about what other folks really got going on in their lives. And that's how I see it in this whole ordeal.
Yeah, definitely agree. They're mad. They're pissed off at um at the fact that she did all of that for a man. And she's happy. The worst part about it is she's sitting over there in the corner cheesing, happy as hell. I thought y'all care about black women's happiness. Mel, how are you?
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Can't hear you, yeah.
Alright.
What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I don't really see it fully as a black thing. I see it just a man woman thing. Period. And the reality is, I think I said in the chat. You probably read some of it. Number one, you got women that's putting down this man for technically being a man, and I mean actually being a man. Because I probably will give them I feel a little empathy for them, because I said most females don't know what a man is, and unfortunately that's on their own doing, because the males that they chose is the, and it's showing right now. they regretting the husbands that they married to. So what's the best way to do it? Down another sister who will actually be with a man that technically they want and stuff, but they wasn't able to get. I pay attention to that TikTok video that you show of that bubble monster moo cow you just showed. Nasty looking lips, man, for real. And stuff. Like I was just reading her like, yo, you said she was married or you just assuming?
No, somebody in that same video commented, "Where's your ring?" And she posted a video that she is actually married, which to me, as I said earlier, that's just disrespectful to her husband. Because was your husband not the quote unquote catch when you met him? Like, to
Nope.
get so upset over a man calling himself a catch when you're supposed to have one right there in the
Exactly.
same bed you lying down. It's like I can't understand that. And then also something I also want to point out, notice that he didn't say I am the catch and Simone is trash. Right? Like, notice he didn't highlight like, oh yeah, I am better than Simone. All he said was, yeah, I always say men are the catch. No one asked him, so if men are the catch, what are women? We just assume, because again, we listen to react, not to respond.
Now, being that when those other two guys on that show was like, "How you get Simone Biles? How you get Simone Biles?" That's why they don't understand the game how it is, and see how calm, cool, collective he was, and he was generally like he said he didn't really know who she was like that, and technically, I don't even think he cares because he was just focused on doing him, and that's what men's supposed to be doing. Focus on doing you. That's how you know you're the catch. Because I don't care what status or type of woman you are, how highly attractive you are. I'm me. I'm the catch. And that young man knew that and stuff. So it's like, yo, that's what really pissed a lot of these females off like crazy and stuff. Especially ones that are married. That shows you what type of marriage they have or what type of man they have at home. Then I saw some of them wish they had that type of man. Others just regret that they, that I had a man that's subservient to me. Cause deep down inside, they probably tired of that. And so it's like, yo, it's showing y'all true colors. Some of them, of course, we already know about the ones that ain't got no men. So it's like, I don't even care about them. But it shows a whole lot and stuff. And he never even downed her like that. He told her what it really is. Like, and the reality is, she didn't chase him. She pursued him. It's a difference between chasing and pursuing. She never chased him because, just like you said, what she did, she put herself to where he's at, but he still pursued her. They were talking online, right? On what, Tinder, something like that.
Apparently some dating app for rich people.
Yeah. So yeah, and he happened to be out of town where she could go over there close by. She was feeling. She made her move. She made a power play, and she put herself in a position that made it easy for him to be where she at. That's another part of the game also too. Women will pursue men and make it easier for them to gravitate towards. If she really likes you, she gonna make it easy. Period. And that's what she did. She made it easy for him because she really liked him. He was that guy. And just like she said the key points. Years later, I'm glad she said that. They gonna be calling me what's say it again? How he said that again?
They won't be calling him Simone Biles' husband.
Yes,
They'll be calling me Jonathan Owens' wife. And I mean,
exactly.
like, honestly, as I said earlier, that's the best thing a woman can say about her husband. That shows that you have faith in his goals and in his dreams. But nah, these hyenas are pissed off, big mad, because how dare you pour life into a black man like that?
And the same
Who
thing
was it
about
had spoke
that
first? I want
non-black
to say.
woman speaking on TikTok also about this. So it's like
Mm-hmm,
now I got to the
mm-hmm.
point that y'all want to speak about us, but we already know how other non-black women speak about their men also too and stuff. So it just tells you that there's no color barrier. Just a lot of miserable women out there, no matter what, and they can't handle a man of that caliber. That is not about the status of how much money you have. It's about the confidence in yourself. He's that much confident in himself and everything that you can't destroy a man like that.
Yeah, most definitely. Kelvin said, "Fact, sisterhood couldn't wait to attack a good woman and man. Been on Simone since she got married. Yeah, they wouldn't let go, so they were just reaching for something. to attack them about. Let me get to, I know I always say when women are in here, I give them priority. I saw Fem Gem had called up and high value wives. Fem Gem, is your audio good? All right, let me go to you next.
Every-
How are you, sis?
Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
Everybody, how are you guys tonight?
Thank you for calling
We're
up.
Hello.
doing good.
Don't worry.
So I'm
Merry
kind of,
Christmas Eve.
huh? Oh, thank you. I don't personally celebrate holidays, but thank you for all those out there. I hope you guys have a happy holiday.
No
Um,
problem.
I received that. So me personally, I'm mixed on this, y'all. Like seriously, because part of me is like, listen, I'm just trying to get out the game and love one black man for eternity and have a healthy, sustainable marriage. But then part of me is also like, I can understand some of the vitriol some of the women have, like the bitter women have, with what happened in the interview. I think it's really more so the response. Because here's my thing. If you want something in life, whether it's career wise, relationship wise, you have to put yourself out there. You have to put needs to chest. You can't just say, God, I want this, Creator, I want this desire for myself. No, you can have a vision, but you also have to put forth the work. So it would be antithetical to what you stand on. You can't just say I want something, but you have to position yourself in life to get the things you want. Like for me, example, I shout that I'm willing to compete for my man, but y'all gotta tell y'all a quick story. I'm going on a tangent. I'm going on a quick tangent. So I'm a caregiver. And I was at First Time with my client, and this guy was talking to me. Well, he was checking me out, and he was just smiling at me, and I was smiling at him. And she was like, "Oh, did you see how he was checking you out?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I said, "This is not appropriate. I'm not gonna talk to him at work." And so, long story short, I said, "I'm gonna go back to First Time and talk to him." Mind you, I have never approached a man, and so. When I say man, it is so hard to be y'all. It is so hard to be y'all. I was like, okay, I'm going First Time. It took me like 45 minutes to get into the First Time. And I said, I'm going to go speak to him. And I couldn't bring myself up to talk to him. And I don't know why. Maybe because I've always been the girl that men have been attracted to me and like they come to me. And so I'm like, what is this dissonance in me? Like, why can't I go to this man? Because I am big on like, I will talk to a man. And I'm like, so what I did with the video you inserted earlier, I said, okay, I'm going to go inside. I went inside. And then I batted my eyelashes. And he positioned himself 5 times to talk to me. I couldn't bring myself up to it. And he literally asked me, he said, "Oh, I noticed you came back." And I said, "Yeah." And then I was like, my dumb self couldn't even like initiate anything. So I was like, oh God. And so I said, what am I going to do? And so when you inserted that video, I was like, okay, I batted my eyelashes. That's enough. I did enough for him to talk to me. Mind you, I left there like I couldn't speak to him. I'm like, why can't I speak to this man? So I was like, it's hard. It's kind of, I think I try to journal and stuff, like I journal. And so I'm like, why couldn't I bring myself to talk to him? Why is this weird for me? It's because I do think as women, it's not in our natural element because we're the receivers. Even you mentioned is like how the sperm is like the goer and we're passive, the egg. But God, that's how he designed us. Like even with our like bodily functions, we're the receivers. They're the doers, they're the aggressors, like they're the pursuers. So it's kind of hard. So I understand like both sides of all of this. I can see the side where you have to put yourself in proximity to what you want to go out there and get it. And I'm willing to do that and compete for my man. But I also can see how there are the girls, like we talk about femininity and we want feminine women. So it's like, I don't know. I'm still trying to explore that within myself. Because
Would you say it's pride? The fear of rejection?
It's not the fact that I don't fear rejection. But I also was like, well, parts of me think like, does he really like me? Will he really like me if he's not truly pursuing me? Like, if I have to actively go and see, maybe I'm trying to figure this out in my head, but if I have to do most of the work, will that in the long run, like, create some type of issues? Because, like, there's this idea that men like to conquer and like to earn their things and their possessions because we're lionesses. We don't do that. But it's like some people are saying, yes, lionesses go out there and get it. I don't know, y'all. I'm really confused in this space.
Because the thing is there's no way you can tell on that initial reaction if you will have to pursue him the whole relationship. And I think even in saying that, like, oh, men are chasers, that's why you initiate the conversation and then you observe how he is for throughout the conversation, throughout the relationship, or throughout the courting phase.
Right, exactly. But I also understand men's apprehension because maybe she listened to these podcasters and she's like, it's more women. It's more women than men. So you have to understand, like, these men are apprehensive because of all these different movements, like Me Too and all these movements. So I can understand the men's apprehension, like, I'm not gonna go up to her because I don't want her to think I have wrong intentions. So I understand that as well. But I don't know. I hear your side of it, but I don't know. I guess I still have to work through it because every man has always pursued me. But at the same time, I'm willing to get on a podcast and talk about, men. But also what you said, like, black men are severely underappreciated. So any chance I get, I'm gonna speak out and just tell black men how much I love and care for them. Cause that's what you were just talking about. Like, if it was a white relationship, if it was a white man, we would be on these shows like Love is Blind, pursuing these men and doing all types of stuff to go pursue him. So it's kind of weird. It's not right. But yeah,
And even as Tony had said earlier, and thanks for sharing. I don't want you to even misinterpret that as me not having that fear of rejection either, because Lord, I would not. I would probably be in the same situation as you're standing there and just blinking. And I mean, come on, no, you should read my mind. I want you to talk to me. What? I feel like that's how all women are, because we have that fear of rejection. But Tony has said something. I'm trying to find it. He has said how. Here it is. Big up yourself, Tony said. Black women can pursue a degree, a career, relationship with a creator, savior, but not a man. Let that burn. And even just like let that sink in, right? We can go so hard when we are pursuing our education in basket weaving. We go so hard when we're pursuing our hair business. And or eyelash business. We go so hard with that. We do conferences, we sit and talk for hours. But when it comes to a man, and we're not talking no bum, right? We're not talking about no dusty. We're talking about a man who is quote unquote high value. Like, what do I do? What do I do? I mean, it's just a conversation to have. As I said, not, judging you or anything, because we're in that same boat, sis. You on that one side rowing, I'm on the other side rowing. We're in the same boat, right? But it's just to bring awareness to the conversation and ask ourselves, like, especially in this day and age, someone had mentioned the Me Too movement, right? The women, like, they will literally go in the gym in booty shorts, and if somebody turn the slightest in their direction, oh my gosh, you're so it's like, of course you understand why men are kind of like drawn back to not pursue. So it's like, even in knowing that, like, the word Mona D has said the worst he can say is ew, no, and then you and then you move on. Thanks for calling up, sis. You can stay up. Let me jump to high value wives, and then I'll get back in order. After high value wives, I'll get to you, Kevin C. All right. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button. I see the super chats in here. Shout out to y'all. I'll bring them on the screen, but it will extend the show so long if I was to read each super chat. But I see y'all. I appreciate it. How are you, high value wives?
Hey girl, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for calling up.
Thank you for having me, and hey to everybody on the panel and everybody watching. Chantel, you know I love you. You know I love you. I I I I disagree with this notion that like this outrage from a lot of Black women are due to like bitterness. Because even as a married woman myself, I think when I watch the interview, I think to myself that like he doesn't really, it didn't really seem like he liked her at first, So to me, the story just wasn't romantic, So I think that's how women are looking at it. Like this isn't a romantic story. It's not something that makes you feel all gushy inside. This is not something that you sit up with your girlfriends like at midnight having wine and you gush over this story. We gush over like how he chased you, when he texted you, what he said, when y'all went to the restaurant, what did he talk about? How he bought you this gift, how he told you that he loved you first. Those are the things that get us, giggling and feeling gushy, because women desire to feel adored and cherished. And like Fem Jim said, like, we want to know that you really like us. That makes us feel good about ourselves. So men, they want to feel respected. Women want to feel cherished and adored. So if I have to do the work to reach out to you, to go and like your Instagram pictures, to drive 45 minutes to go see you, I don't, that's not going to make me feel cherished and adored. So
Wait, let me
I,
stop you right there, because
mm-hmm.
did you hear the part when he was like, after the first date, it was up from there. Like after the first date, they couldn't stop laughing, they couldn't stop talking to each other, and it was that gushy feeling that you were just explaining from there.
Right. I did
So
hear that,
what
but mm-hmm.
So like, because my point is like, yes, that initial interaction, like, oh, she had to message him first and she liked his picture first, but then to focus on that but negates all the other things that came after that possibly gave her the gotcha feeling. And yeah, at first he probably didn't like her because he didn't know her and he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't looking for a relationship, right? And as Bernard said, Bernard words, not mine, she's cute, right? So
Mm-hmm.
maybe he didn't look at her and be like, dang, she's fine, compared to the Instagram thoughts that was probably in his DM. So yeah, maybe at first he wasn't really checking for her, but then once he gets to know her and see the type of person she was, then the attraction develops. So wouldn't that be more important than the initial, like the story, the gushy story to tell a friend? Wouldn't that be more important?
I mean, it would, but I could see myself looking back to when we first met and not really feeling comfortable sharing that story, you know? And then I could find myself wondering, like, man, like, so if I wouldn't have said nothing to you, you wouldn't have said nothing to me. Like, you didn't see me like how I saw you. You know, we think as women, like, we think about, those things, because we are constantly, even silently, we're trying to assure ourselves that our man loves us, and then when we go through, those dark times, your mind can start to go places and you can start to second guess the entire relationship based
Child,
on
the
how
fact
it
that
started
he
off.
proposed, that if that mind is going places, it better stop and get off of that bus. The fact that he proposed to her, where her mind will be going, where her mind will be going
I
after
mean,
he proposed to her.
at the same time, I mean, just because you're married, it doesn't mean that you have a good marriage. I mean, there are a lot of women in marriages right now that are not good marriages, and men have gotten married for different
No,
reasons.
no,
So it's
man,
not,
no, that wasn't my point. You probably
oh,
misunderstood me. Because my
sorry.
point was, obviously he liked her, he married her. So
That
even though, if no,
that's
I'm
true.
not, I use the
Hmm.
wrong word. Obviously he loved her, he married her. So even though, yes, she doesn't have the gushy feelings for how they first met, she has a story about that he proposed.
That's
He
true, but
proposed to her, right?
we don't know his intentions behind why he married her. I mean, the obvious, thing that we see is that she has a lot of money. She has the name, she has the clout. So I'm not a heart reader. I'm not saying that he married her for those reasons. I'm saying that him marrying her is not proof that he
But we
loves her.
can't
Just
but we can't be making up our own stories now because we
no,
really
we're not.
don't
We don't.
know.
But
No, but
when
so we can't be saying, oh, we don't know why he married her. Well, let's talk about what the story we know, and what we know is the interview. Right? We
Can I?
can't
right,
go and
it's
try to say that their marriage isn't a healthy marriage just for it to fit our
no, and
narrative.
that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I was originally talking about women feeling adored. I was using like I guess an example of like when your mind goes places, when because times aren't always going to be happy. Women, what we'll do is we'll try to reassure ourselves that, oh, my man loves me or my husband loves me, and you'll start to reflect maybe on the things he did, how you guys initially got together. So when your mind goes back to how y'all met, you can start to believe that this thing was never right in the first place, because he never proved in the beginning with how this came about that he really wanted me in the first place. That's where your mind can go. And just a quick story from me and my husband, like when he was liking me, what he would do is he would just drive down my street, and I would have never known if during that time he didn't tell me. And I would stand by the window and I would literally just wait, just like wait for him to drive by, like, oh my God, like, is he going to take my street? And a few times I see him ride down the street. I see him park down in the cul-de-sac. And I'm just like, it just makes you feel good that like you're on a man's mind. He's really liking you. He's showing you in that dating phase that like he adores you even before the dating when y'all are just liking each other. When he's making the moves to pursue you, I mean, even sometimes as we're married, I just think back to those times and I just like, just think to myself, like, wow, like, those were some good times. I remember when he used to just, tell me how he used to, man, I went to your Facebook page today just to look at your photos, as a woman, that makes you feel adored and cherished. But if it were the other way around and I was the one riding down his street, parked in his cul-de-sac, if I was the one saying, I was on your Facebook today and I was looking at your photos, me sitting here right now, I don't think that would make me feel good because, like I said, as a woman, not to be too long-winded, I know you got to get to other people. We want to receive that. We want to feel loved and cherished. And I don't know how many Bible readers we have out there, but this is why it states in the Bible that the husband is to love his wife like Christ loves the congregation, because our Creator knows that we want to feel loved. And we're supposed to have a deep respect for our husbands because our Creator designed the man to receive love in the form of respect. So to Fem Jim's point, yes, you're not wrong. It's in our natural nature. We want to receive that. We want the man to prove to us that he loves us. We want him to go to our fathers behind our backs and tell our fathers that I love this woman. This is the woman I want to marry. That makes us feel good. So I can see where women in the shade room, women all over are just like turning their nose up at this story because naturally this isn't a story where she was adored in the beginning. So we're
But
like, this ain't, yeah, go ahead.
Notice that you compared the dating phase of you and your husband to the initiation phase of Simone and her husband. If you mind me asking, how did you and your husband meet?
We met through friends. We were in the same congregation.
Okay, pardon me, I had to drink my water. So the story that you shared to fit this conversation, we would have to know what happened after Simone drove 45 minutes for after that first date, right? Because to say, well, your husband pursued you and it makes you feel gushy when we have no information on how Simone's husband pursued her.
But he didn't
right?
pursue her though. She pursued
But we don't
him.
know. I know that's what I'm saying. We don't have any information. She initiated the conversation and she drove down for the first date.
No, even
But who
Mel
is to
Logic
tell?
said that she pursued him. Like she
No, okay,
initiated.
but who is to say that he did not hide out in the bushes like your husband did too? Right? Who's
That's
to
why
say he
I
didn't
asked
do all of
you.
those
I
things?
asked you that when in the chat. I said, did he mention?
Yeah,
Because
and then because yeah, he
Mhm.
didn't. That's what I said. When you asked, I saw it. He didn't. So we can't say he didn't pursue her or he didn't bring the same energy like your husband did if we really don't know. Because that's why I said we need to keep it specific on the information we know. We can't be making up stories and saying he didn't pursue her when before all we know, he probably went up to her every weekend after that first date,
Well,
right?
he
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 probably moved her.
specifically said that she pulled him. Like he
Yeah,
did not
because he
pull her.
wasn't.
So if he pulled her, that indicates that I pursued her because I pulled her. He said off top, she pulled me. She put in the work.
Yeah, because he said that he wasn't looking for a relationship.
Right. So
So
she
she
pursued
changed his
him.
yeah,
He
so she
said that.
changed his mind. She changed his mind, but that doesn't mean that she was the one in the bushes looking at him.
I think she was
He could have
though,
been,
because
but and that's why I said we can't be making up our own stories. We gotta
no,
stick to
based off
what
of
we
his
know.
words, just based off of his words. He
Based
said
off of
that.
his words, he was not interested in a relationship, so he wasn't even checking for her like that. And because of the energy that she brought on the first date, he was like, okay, that's something different now, and they're just laughing. So now, who's to say that after the first date he didn't say, you know what, this one right here is the one, so let me just let me stick with her. My overall point is, you mentioned the story with you and your husband as if to say, women want to be chased, women want to be pursued. And I agree 100%. But at the same time, we don't know if he did that for her. So we can't just assume just because she messaged him first and she drove down for the first date, we can't just assume, okay, well, she chased him. That's why I emphasize we need to stick to the information we know.
But that's based off of what he said, though, because he specifically said that she pulled me. I did not pull her. So and no point in anything that I said am I basing it off of the information that he didn't give to us. And all I'm saying, and for their marriage, I really hope it works out. I really wish her the best. All I'm saying is that the story that he told is not a romantic story. And I don't think Black women or any woman looking at this story and turning their nose up, I don't think it comes from a place of bitterness. I just think that that's not generally how women want it to go, but that doesn't have anything to do with being bitter,
I think romance is subjective, because the story you told, a lot of women might not find your story a romantic story. So I think it's very important for us to see. And if everybody mute up, I'm hearing feedback. I think it just depends on what do you find romantic. And she clearly finds it romantic. I was cheesing when she was telling the story because I found it romantic. And I'm pretty sure there are other women find it romantic. Now, when you were telling your story, I couldn't understand it. You say your husband was, but then again, this was after y'all met, right? No, if your husband did that when y'all didn't even exchange numbers, I would have been like, how he know your address, right? But then it's two different situations, it's two different stories. So it's like, that's why I said it's subjective. And then also the point that you touched on about women wanting to feel butterflies and stuff like that. Honestly, I think it just depends on what you value in a relationship. If a man messaging you first makes you have the butterfly feeling, as opposed to a man making sure that you are protected, or that a man that you can call if you have a flat tire. Personally, and I can only talk for myself, personally, if I message a guy first, but then after I got to know him, every time I have a flat tire or every time my car needs to be washed and vacuumed, because if y'all don't know, I do not like going to the car wash to vacuum my car myself, I will get the butterfly feelings every time my man take my car to the car wash, because he know I don't like. I'll get the butterfly feeling every time he pump my gas. So when I'm sitting with my friends and I'm saying like, yeah, I messaged him first and I had to drive 45 minutes for our first date, but he never let me pump the gas or he never let me wash the car, that gives me my butterfly feelings. So again, that can be subjective too. That's why I say, we gotta go for the information that we know. Life isn't a fairy tale. Prime said it, right? Not every guy is going to buy you flowers and do all the things that Disney told us that men are supposed to do. You just have to
and my
find
point
what's
was that
important
I don't think it's coming from a source of bitterness, because I know for sure, like, I'm not bitter. I actually like Simone Biles, and I like her personality. I like how bubbly she is. To me, she does exude like that femininity, that good energy. She seems like she's like a really good cheerleader. However, how they came about, it's just not a romantic story. And so when I'm reading women's comments and I'm looking at other females' YouTube videos and they're talking about this, I don't think, wow, you guys are bitter. Wow, you guys are jealous. I am like 99% sure that they do not want a situation where a man is going to sit up on the podcast and basically talk about how you pursued him. Like, no woman wants that. So that was my only disagreement, is I don't think it's coming from a place of jealousy. Like, women, when we hear that, I think I could speak for most women. We do not feel jealous at all. Matter of fact, we don't want our man to do that.
I feel like I stand on the point that it's coming from bitterness and jealousy, because you could hear that story and say, dang, that works for her, it don't work for me, but let me just, it can't, everybody mute up, I'm hearing feedback. That works for me, that works for her, it doesn't work for me. Just like I said, when you shared your story, it worked for you. Personally, that wouldn't work for me. No, I wouldn't say, oh, how dare you, you're a pick me, you need to know better, you don't see that man is hiding in the bushes. Of course not, because it works for you. But the fact that they're disrespecting Simone like that for something that clearly worked for her, she was grinning ear to ear, all 32 teeth, she could run ad for Colgate.
The
right? The fact that we
disrespect
can't just,
definitely isn't warranted.
yeah, and the fact
It
that we
shouldn't
can't
be
say,
disrespect.
okay, the fact that we can't say, oh, she found that romantic. Oh, nice. Just like how you found your husband's, what your husband did romantic is, oh, nice. Not my, not my cup of tea, but it works for you. Clearly, that's why y'all married. And that's why I said clearly he pursued her, or he chased her, or he showed some interest, because he's only 28. I want to say Simone is like 27, 26. I know Simone is around the same age. He didn't have to marry her. She not pregnant, so it wasn't a belly to tie him. He had other options. Bernard pointed out he had more than likely had a lot of Instagram people in his DM, like, so he had the choice to walk away or string her along, but he didn't. So that is clear indication that he probably liked her too, right? He might not like her after that initial interaction because, of course, he don't know her. And as Bernard said, Bernard words, not mine, she ain't the cutest of the bunch, right? She ain't the baddest chick in the bunch. So maybe he wasn't checking for her, and maybe that's why we can even play devil's advocate and say maybe that's why he made her drive 45 minutes. Maybe if she was a little bit more attractive, he would have did the drive. Okay, in playing devil's advocate, but at the same time, he still married her. He said after that initial interaction with them, after that first date, he couldn't get enough of her. So obviously, he was checking for her. I think when we try to put our expectations on other people, this is when the water get muddy. We tend to have this fairy tale like, oh, I want butterflies. Anybody will tell you, right? Butterflies aren't realistic. That's not something you're going to have all the time. I do understand your point. You do want to look back at the initial stages, the first stages, and think back and smile and blush. But after the first date, they were laughing, they were going back and forth, they were hanging out a lot. So maybe she does look back and blush, right? Anybody want to respond to high value wives, and then I will move
definitely
on.
do. Definitely do. You can't have it both ways,
I can't
right?
wait. I can't see who is talking. Who's talking?
It's
Which
Jermaine.
Jeremy?
Jermaine
Okay.
Jackson picture.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. Like if you're gonna say that he didn't want her in the beginning, then the marriage was the moment, or the marriage proposal was the moment that he proved that he really liked her. Because you can't then turn around and say he married her for money, when if he was a gold digger, she wouldn't be the one driving 45 minutes to come see him. She would be the prize, and he would be chasing her to get that prize, right? So you can't have it both ways. And as I said before, I have multiple stories of black women approaching white men, black women, the white men saying, I didn't care about her sport, I didn't respect it, whatever the case may be. And black women had no uproar about that. Black women are celebrating these marriages. And the reality of it is, a lot of black women are just gonna hate black men regardless. They hated him when they got married, right? So unless it's a complete win black male billionaire that marries some woman from McDonald's, where black women can feel like they're winning, they're gonna hate black men regardless. So it really has not a lot of it. I'm not saying every black woman feels this way, but a lot of them, they're on Twitter daily trashing black men. So it's not gonna, either way. This was not a win either way.
I hear that because Chantel, you mentioned it too. Like she won because she got married, and it's like, again, like we don't know his intention. We're not heart readers, so we can't use marriage as the proof that he loves or likes her. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't love her. I'm just saying that we can't use marriage to say, oh, look, well, she got married, so she must have did something right, because
What
we don't
can we
know.
use though? What could we use
No,
for
I'll use
argument's
that.
sake?
She did one.
No,
That's
wait.
the point. Oh, sorry.
What could we use high value wife for argument's sake, right? What could we use to make people say, dang, yeah, she did he didn't play her,
Well,
given the information we have.
that would be up to you guys, because you guys are using that to prove your point. So I'm just saying that can't be used because we're not we can't read his heart. He could have. I'm just saying he could have, and I'm not saying he is. Please don't get it confused, because he might really love her. He might have not have liked her in the beginning, but grew to love her. I don't know. I'm just saying that for the argument, you can't use that, because he could have married her because he truly loved her, or he could have married her for clout.
But wouldn't it make more sense if like he had just continued to date her and string her along and like make sure they're seen in public and for clout, right?
Hmm.
All right,
Yeah,
Mo,
so
you were
that
gonna
was
say
that was the
something.
accusation with the first guy, by the way. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mel. Go ahead. I'll go after you.
It's the vibe. I actually could say that she actually won. I actually could say he married her because he actually loved her and everything. Why? Because just like he said, as a man myself that spends with women, when you focus on your own thing the way you're supposed to, we women, I make women feel a certain way that why they gravitate towards me. He made her feel a certain way that she did all that to get him. And unfortunately, he liked that. Case closed. They both got what they want. But he's not going to put her on a pedestal and everything like that, like crazy. No, that's the problem. Why a lot of dudes be feeling with females these days. They do too much. We got women online now. Man, remember the video of this chick who talked about I went on the first date with this dude. He brought flowers and all that stuff, and I was turned off and everything. Lily shows that you ain't got to do too much to impress these chicks. Just come be yourself. That's it. Have fun. You ain't got to do too much. But I'm sorry, you ain't got to be over romanticized. Like, yo, the women do be making chicks their girlfriends too fast, too early. She didn't even earn that title. Sorry to say, you might not like how I'm gonna put it. He made her earn that title. That you know what, you want to be my number one. That do what it is, what it is, and she did it, and that's how
Yeah.
she
So
got that ring.
so
Guys, I
Simone
need to
Biles.
say real quick. Kevin, I'm gonna come to you real quick, but I literally just came to the realization I did not eat today. So I'm gonna go take off my camera.
Maybe it's detox, Shane. Could
I
be
know,
detox.
right? Like I literally just realized, like it just came to my mind. Oh my gosh, I didn't eat today. So I'm gonna turn on my radio. I can still hear y'all from my um what is name? I'm hungry.
Earpiece.
Earpiece.
So
Bring your
earpiece.
earpiece.
Go
Yeah.
eat.
Me
So
too,
I'm gonna go
Shay.
eat. I can still
Right
hear
now,
y'all,
man. I
but
got
just
to
remember,
detox
like
myself.
don't talk over each other. I know Kevin, you have a point to make,
Go ahead,
and
Kevin.
then
I'm
it
sorry.
was oh, it was you next, Kevin. So go ahead, say what you're gonna say, and then go into the point that you made where you called
Yeah,
her.
I'll go ahead and do everything. I'll go ahead and do the opening, and just kind of make some points. So yeah, so essentially she won. She got the marriage, and look, it sounds like women want the story, and the men are fine with the actual marriage. That's really what the men are looking at. Like, look, she earned the title, she earned the position. You know what? She supports him the way that he needs to be supported, and vice versa. And oh, by the way, with the rest of that interview, he actually went and praised her and talked about how they support and reinforce each other. And so I guess the women missed the rest of that. They just saw the part that had he praised her first and then said the other part, then probably it'd been a different outcome. But the way Ryan Clark, and that was the guy who's the actual host, and I actually watch that show on a regular basis, that podcast, and they don't really talk about relationships, but Simone Biles is a special person, so he kind of got into it a little bit. And the host, I'm gonna have to fault him a little bit because he kind of led him in a direction. And what I would have done, and what Jonathan Owens should have done, is just say, hey, look, oh no, she's a really good woman, gave her some praise, and then moved into and shut that line of questioning down, and then went into the story. By the way, he's actually told this story over half a dozen times in other interviews. This is the first time there's been major public backlash. People have always been kind of a little bit suspicious about what his intentions are and all this other stuff, this, that, and the third. But remember, this is the guy who, when she was going through all that, when she was going through all that stuff in Tokyo, when she was having those issues and problems, she was supported by the coaching staff and her team. She was supported by her family, and he was right there in the mix, actually, sending support and all this other stuff and everything else, because I was watching it. So, and while everybody else was, getting in her behind about, oh, you gave up on the team and all this other stuff, he was right there doing what he was supposed to do. He wasn't even married to her yet. So, so they have some history behind all of that stuff. And the thing about it is that essentially she got to marriage, and whether she, messaged first, because, a dating app for rich people, celebrities, and all this other stuff. So, I think the woman has to make the first move or something like that. Whatever it is they do, the bottom line is that, there's nothing wrong with her putting in a little bit of effort. And then he just kind of took it the rest of the way. That's really what it looks like to me and to most men. It's interesting because most of the men don't really have any issue with this. There's only a few, and they kind of have like I hate to say it, a simpish take on it. But the majority of men really don't have an issue with it. And oh, by the way, I'll tell you why men are the catch. So this is what the real issue is. He's the catch. Okay, so they have a unique situation. They're both multi-million-dollar athletes, high-level performers, all this other stuff. Yeah, I got it. She's the GOAT, and she's got all this accolades and awards and decorations and everything else. Nobody's going to argue with that. But the thing is that in that world, it operates a little bit differently. So the rest of us can't compare it to what we go through at the regular level. So so again, women wanted the story and the emotional aspect of it, and he's just like, look, men just want the marriage, the woman, the relationship, the kids, the family, and all the experiences and everything that goes with it, along with the support and all the other stuff. And I'll get back to why men are the catch. The reason men are the catch is that all the stuff we have to do once we marry you. We got to make sure that you're taken care of. We got to provide, protect. We got to problem solve. We got to be productive. We got to lead the family. We have to be men of character and integrity. We got to be faithful to one woman and one woman only. That's what we say we're going to do. So so that's to the exclusion of all other women. We got to invest in homes, cars, trips, family vacations, stuff for the kids, all this other stuff and everything else. And the reason that men are the catch is that women aren't volunteering to do any of that. They're not doing that for men. Now they'll do that for kids that they have. They'll do all of that stuff for kids, but there's no woman volunteering to do that, to marry you and then say, you know what, I'm going to do all of that stuff for you. You have access to my bank accounts. You're going to be on all my insurance. You're going to put you in my last will and testament. I'll take a bullet for you. I will, fight for you. I'll die for you if necessary. Women aren't volunteering to do all of that. I have yet to find out. I wouldn't even ask my own wife to do any of that. I'm expecting her to just support and reinforce what it is I'm trying to do as I lead the family and do the stuff I'm supposed to do as a husband and father. But we have to do so much. And that's why he was saying that he didn't frame it properly. He didn't explain it. He just said men are the catch. And women go, what? He's the catch? Men are the catch? Yes, we are. And men need to explain it that way. And then I'd like to see a woman actually counter those points and argue against it. Because my question to you would be, well, okay, so everything I just listed, are you volunteering to do that for a man? Are you volunteering to do that for the rest of your life? Are you volunteering to carry him and pay the bills and make sure all the other stuff and everything else is taken care of, 100%, all this other stuff? Are you giving him time off from work to take care of kids and let him be a stay-home father and husband and all this other stuff? No, women aren't doing that. That's why men are the catch, and that's how he should have framed it. But he's too young to understand that and explain it that way. And I'll say this: Ryan Clark really shouldn't have led him in that direction. But somebody had something for me. Go ahead.
No, I wanted to piggyback on what you just said because the sister said earlier that husbands love your wives as Christ loved the church. Christ loved the church by providing for them and dying for them, because if he didn't die for them, the church could have died. That's how Christ loved the church. He wasn't romantic with the church. He wasn't over here giving people massages and hiding in the burning bush and all that stuff like that. Christ loved the church by providing. He paid their taxes, all that stuff like that. Christ was not a soft, loving, huggy, hug-a-bear type of dude, right? It was a rough dude.
We get stuff done. The men are the doers. We're not asking women to do all of that. Now, again, women would do that. If you're a single mother, you got to do all that for your kid. Well, you do what it is you can do for single mothers. You got 2 or 3 kids, whatever, however that works out. But my whole point is that when we make a commitment to you as a woman and we're asking you to marry us, we know what comes with it. And we're going in, I'll say, I'm trying to be clean here. We're going in hardcore and saying, look, I'm giving you access to everything. I'm giving you all of me. I'll take a bullet for you, girl. That's how much I love you. And that's how it is. And I'm sure that's kind of the way he feels. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I want to even add something real quick. How we have been brainwashed to hyper focus on all those romantic things, right? He needs to buy me flowers. He needs to open the car door, and he needs to make me have the butterflies inside. But we're not focusing on the fact, okay, is he a great provider? Is he a protector? Like, what's going to happen if somebody's breaking in? Because a man can buy you flowers all he wants. But if somebody breaking in and he's hiding in the closet, is that a man we want? If somebody can please drop Miss Crimson's Cure channel in the chat. She talks about the 4 P's: provision, protection, procreation, and problem solving. Not one of them talk about butterflies in our stomach. And that's what we need to emphasize on, not the gushy feeling. And clearly, based on her smile, Simone is probably getting the 4 P's from her man. Like, yeah, she had to initiate the conversation, but maybe she is aware enough to know that him being able to offer the 4 P's is a lot more important than him being able to give me the butterflies in my stomach. That's why we watch shows like Twilight.
Hey, Jermaine just gave you an example. Serena had chased down some thief, took her purse, and then the dude just sat there. So look, I'd have been running right behind, or a matter of fact, I actually got in a situation where I thought I was actually gonna have to, beat somebody up, defending my wife. And my wife actually stopped me. She said, I was like, you know this guy? She's like, oh yeah. And I literally, I didn't even think about it. I didn't even hesitate. I was ready to handle this dude because it looked like he was, kind of threatening my wife a little bit. and he was just a bit erratic. I'll just say that. Now the other thing too is that, and I'll tell my quick story. So my wife gave me choosing signals. She put it out there. Matter of fact, she was so subtle with it that I missed it. My buddy that was with me, my Army buddy, he said, "Oh, hey man, that lady back there was checking you out. You better go back and talk to her. You better holler." And yeah, we went out on a date, same night, went dancing, and then the next date was at a nice little park, and we and then I took it from there. That's literally it. And she didn't have to lead that relationship or beg and plead and all this other stuff and chase after me. Once I understood that she was interested, she gave me those signals, then I took it from there. That's literally how, and that's probably what Jonathan Owens did. He just doesn't know how to explain it or tell the story.
Isn't it called choosing signals? I learned that from this space. Choosing signals, right?
Yeah, choosing signals. Yeah, she gave me those signals, and it was so subtle that I missed it. And my buddy, called. He's like, "Hey man, that lady back there, she's kind of cute. She's looking at you." And and had it not been for him, I'd have completely missed the whole thing. So that right there, and the fact that she put it out there, and then she showed me she was very interested from the beginning. And I wasn't as interested, but I saw was who she is as a person. She's a great person, great woman, great great wife, mother, all this other stuff. She's just an overall great person. Does everything right. Highly responsible. We're very compatible. I saw all of that, and I said, you know what? I don't even know why you're available. I got to lock this down and make this woman my wife. That's how dudes get to that. It's everything is not this super romantic stuff in Disney and all this other stuff. It's what's important over the long term. Is this guy committed to you and only you, and is he willing to do everything all that list that I went down to include taking a bullet and sacrificing his life for you? Now you tell me that's not romantic. Tell me that's not romantic. I dare you.
That's what I said earlier. Like most men would constantly chase after a woman when they know that they make them do too much work, that oversize what they feel like that's romantic. Other men that got a purpose and everything, we may find your woman cute, even though the most percentage of men I may say that you're the top tier. The way we carry, we may find you cute, but we're still focused on our thing. We're still gonna do our thing no matter what. And if you want to tag along and we rock, that's it is. We treat it as a byproduct of what we're actually doing. And you're gonna follow it, then we really rock with y'all. But we're not gonna. Some men like us, and Kevin C said himself, like him, we're not gonna put you on a pedestal like that. And so we still focus on doing what we want to do. I don't know, whatever what. And hey, we happen to run into a cute girl. Hey, it is what it is. But we ain't gonna put it on a pedestal.
And I'll say this too. So they were trying to give examples like he needs to be more like Serena Williams' husband. He needs to be more like Travis Kelce. He needs to be more basically like white men. Look. Black men don't move that way. We're not them. They're not us. We got to do things differently, and that's just how it rolls. We're not going to try to be them. We ain't trying to do nothing like they do, and we don't compare us to them because they don't have the same issues and problems that we have. They don't have the same life experience. They don't have to go through what it is we go through. So we're not them, and they're not us.
And again,
also too, that's a black man was Russell Wilson and stuff. They probably think on their mind they wish they had a Russell Wilson who did orders for Sierra and everything, and he got her.
That's what Bernard said. It's only black love when a man is a simp. Queen Forever, big up yourself. About chasing is when you run down a man who does not want you, and that is bars right there. It's only chasing when you're the only one running. But if they're reciprocating, now granted, he did not go into details about how he reciprocated. But the fact that Simone was sitting there smiling from ear to ear, right? We're going to deal with the facts that we have at hand. We're not making up stories. We're dealing with the interview, what we have. We can safely come to the conclusion that she wasn't just chasing him.
So Miss Chantel, the other thing too is that you got the women, all over the internet talking about calling for divorce. I'm like, this dude really hadn't done anything wrong. He doesn't cheat, he doesn't beat her, he's not financially irresponsible. He's doing all the stuff he's supposed to do as a husband, and they're talking about divorce. That makes me question how serious women are about marriage. What, you get one mistake and one mistake only, and that's something that they can actually sit down. I bet they went home and they talked about it and said, I didn't mean it that way. This, that, and the third, or whatever. And even she's saying, Samantha's like, hey, y'all still talking about this? Are y'all done yet? Like, even she's like, it's like the sisterhood is trying to pull her away from this dude and the happy marriage that she has. Like, they're not going to be satisfied until they're done, because apparently
you saw how they reacted to Kiki. You see how they reacted to Kiki's baby daddy?
Yeah, because apparently Zac Efron is supposed to be her husband. No, she got the husband she's supposed to have, the one that she wanted, and they're together, and that's it. So stop it, ladies.
Also,
Stop it.
I was like to add, you know, I'm sorry, HVW, but you keep assuming that he married her for money and everything because she made more than him and the millionaire.
I never did. And someone else in the
You
chat
did
also
emphasize that
says
so
that.
much.
No, no, wait, hold on,
Yes, you
because I don't want
did.
to be misunderstood. I
You
specifically
still
said
emphasize that much. We don't know if he's marrying for his money or
No,
not.
no,
Wait,
let's
wait,
explain it,
now
man. Let's explain
let
it.
she explain herself. Yeah.
Chantel, yeah,
Yeah, she
Chantel,
explained it.
please, because
Everybody
I
mute
don't,
their
I don't,
mic. Let her explain
Go ahead.
herself. Go ahead.
because I don't like to be misunderstood, especially when I slow down and I really make sure that to not be misunderstood. I specifically said, I'm not saying that he married her for his money. I said y'all can't use that as an argument. He could have married her for love, or he could have married her for clout, meaning it could be A or it could be B. So I'm just saying, Mel, if you could just please not say that I'm saying that, because there was someone else in the comments who said, wow, so you're saying that he, and I'm like, are you guys actually like, listening to me? Please don't put words in my mouth, because I specifically said we are not heart readers. We cannot read his heart. We don't know why he married her. Like I said, Mel, it could be A or B. So I just wanted to clear that up. You can go ahead.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like it's mostly because that even came up when there was nothing to indicate that he married
Exactly.
her
No,
for her
you were
money.
using that to defend your point. So
Well,
it
that's
didn't
the
just,
point
I
I'm
didn't
making.
just
Now let me
come
No,
out.
finish.
yeah,
Now
the
let me.
point was that he married her, right? No,
Mm-hmm.
hear what I'm saying. Because the point was that he clearly liked her because he married her. And I get how you were saying we can't use that because we don't know what their relationship is like, but there was nothing to indicate that their relationship isn't happy.
Right. And that's
So
why I
I
said
think
it's
that's
not,
why people are
I'm
like,
not saying whether it's happy or not. I'm just saying we don't know. So you can't say in your argument,
okay,
oh, well, he must love her
so
because
maybe I
he
can
married.
use this example to get it's kind of like, say we were having this conversation and you would say, well, he probably sniffing coke at home. And it's like, wait, where did that come from? What indicated that didn't, you get what I'm, because it was so far-fetched, like there was nothing about the conversation to indicate that
No,
their marriage
Chantel,
isn't
no,
happy.
I was responding to what you guys said. You said that, well, he married her. So I didn't get it out of left field. I used what you were using to defend your point. And I just said, okay, we just can't use that because we don't know.
I think it's because you introduced a possibility when the probability shows that he married her for love. Because
Exactly.
if you're
Nothing
not
proves that though.
hold on real quick. When you have a gold digger, hold
Hey,
on, let me just finish. Let me finish.
sorry,
When you
go
have
ahead.
somebody that's a gold digger, they're gonna chase them for that prize. Obviously, she was the one driving to him 45 minutes, so obviously he didn't care about that money or clout that she had, right? When later on they dated, he married her. He didn't go out there on the red carpet and all that stuff trying to get clout. So where's the probability doesn't show that he married her for clout or money. The probability showed that he warmed up to her and started to like her and love her, right? Because
Mhm.
even when he liked her and saw her following and all that stuff like that, he still wasn't. When someone's chasing Drake, when the gold diggers is chasing Drake, who puts no effort in talking to these women, they're at every basketball game he's at. There's at every concert. Same thing with groupies for basketball players. They always present chasing these dudes because that's how gold diggers react. So the
Mhm.
probability doesn't show itself.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and all I'm saying is that you still can't use it to defend your argument, even if the probability
Actually,
leans more
I
toward.
could.
Wait, well, let me just finish. Even if the
I'll let you
probability
finish.
leans more toward him loving her, you still can't use it to defend your point because you don't know how he really feels about her. You just don't
But but
know.
but who cares
You
if he's
can't
Okay,
married?
defend the
can I
Because
negative.
actually
there
just
there
real
are a
quick?
lot of
No,
men
just
in
real quick.
marriages
I
right
can actually
now
prove
that
that.
don't love their wives.
I can actually prove that because we seen it on the interview in the video Fancelta played. If you paid attention, watch how they body language reacted, how their facial reaction reacted, and everything. Clearly
Mhm.
shows he loved her, she loved him. How long they been married, y'all? For like, how long?
About a year and maybe a year and a half, maybe 18 months or so.
They got married.
Exactly.
But
Yeah,
the
I
thing is,
watch
you
body
can't.
language all the time, man. That clearly shows how much he loved her. He married for love, and he said it himself. He didn't even know who this chick was like that. Wasn't all hyped up because of her status like that. So he ain't marrying her for clout.
And I
But
think
you
I
don't
think
know. I don't
also
know
to
that. We don't
say
know
I
that.
think also
situation,
to
There's
say
no way to
hold
know.
I
on, let me
mean
finish. Let me
we
finish. Let me finish. Even though they divorced now, but I'm speaking of how they first met was Tom Brady and his now ex-wife. She made more money than he did, but he didn't care about that. He focused on his status, what he was going to do. You know what happened? He wanted to make it more money than her, and she tried to slow him down. That's one reason why they divorced, because now you're dealing with someone that's just as great, like a complete great package. You slow a man like that down, yeah, things ain't gonna work out like that. That's how he carries himself. I'm a man that's on the rise, that's trying to build myself, trying to be the greatest. I need a woman that's gonna support me no matter what. Gonna be there
Mona.
by my side no matter what. He's focused on his goals and his dreams, and he
I
felt like
But
would
she.
I would
in
believe
philosophy,
that because Mona made a point that if he had initiated and changed her, it would have been love. Because I would agree more with you, high value wives, if he had initiated her, that okay, maybe he's a gold digger in the marriage. But I want to say Jermaine had pointed out, like,
Mhm.
she's the one who, this whole conversation was about how she pursued him, right? So we
Mhm.
contradict ourselves when we say that. And then also we have to focus, as I've been saying, focus on the information we have, right? I do get where you're coming from about we don't know their marriage, so we can't assume that it's good. However, the information we have, two seemingly happy couple smiling from ear to ear, so there was no indication that the relationship was not well. So for that to come into the conversation seemed a little far-fetched. Also, I forgot what I was gonna say. So let's go to Fem Gem. You wanted to say something. I heard your little voice. And guys, remember we only have 30 minutes left.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I completely agree with High Value Wife. When I saw that, it wasn't giving that, like what she described. Like another example, when the brother, I wanted to push back on what he said, because when he said the whole, I'm blanking, I'm sorry. When he said the whole, are women willing to die for their husband, da, 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 I think that it should be reciprocity. Like I would be willing to die for my black man, and while he's out there conquering the world and producing, not in a home where I'm doing this stuff, I think that there should be both equal value. Like both people are valuable. I think, yes, I get it. Like, black man, you did it. You are the prize. But I also understand she's the prize as well. But I used to have this mentality of thinking like men are only the prize because they're the gatekeepers of relationship and marriage. But until I talked to my sister as a wife, and she was like, no, women are the prize. So I really don't. I'm still trying to figure that out. But I do think both people are the prize, and it should be reciprocity on both ends. Like,
Exactly.
why would I want my man, my baby, to be in the house making home cooked meals, teaching the kids stuff, when I can be doing that, so he can go out and conquer and make those figures and increase, and I can increase in the home. That's what I'm trying to be on with my black man. But at the same time, I don't know. Part of me kind of steered me, like, brushed me the wrong way when there was laughter. It came at the blunt of her expense. When y'all, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but there was a moment where I feel as though I think that she is enamored by him, but at the end of the day, she won because she got married, and he won because he's married. But I saw that he didn't offer that covering that she deserved to have. Like, I don't know if y'all noticed when they started laughing, and he was like looking at her like, at the brother like this, and he was looking at, and I just kind of, I can see how women interpret it. Men and women think different. We all obviously think totally different. So I kind of, it brushed me the wrong, because I was like, well, why didn't he defend her? Like, why didn't he like?
Because he doesn't have the maturity to actually know what he's supposed to do in those situations. He should have shut down that line of questioning. He should have actually cut it off and said, no, don't, my wife is the best thing, da, da, da,
Yes,
da, da, da. And then,
exactly.
and on top of that, he should explain why men are the catch. And this thing about women being the prize, look, you can't be 35 years old with 4 kids by 3 different men talking about you the prize. And that's what men are getting today.
Okay.
So women got to stop doing that. That's literally how a lot of women are presenting themselves. They're not showing up. They're not showing up to somewhere between 18 to 22, ready to get married as virgins, no kids, flat stomach, and a bubbly personality. That's not how they're showing up. They're showing up at 30 plus, talking about, hey, I'm ready now, and by the way, these kids, you're gonna help me take care of them and all this other stuff. That's not a prize to men. That's not a prize, and that's what a lot of men are getting.
That's why I have a
So women got to get away from that y'all are the pride stuff. Yeah, that was like 30.
That's why I
That
got
was
a new
like 40, 50,
philosophy,
maybe
right?
60 years ago. We're way past that now. And
That's
actually, it's to the point now where men are actually the better men. Men when they show up with everything in order, they're actually on the better. They're actually in more of a position to negotiate for the best woman that they can get. The women have set
That's
it up so that way men are actually have the advantage, and we shouldn't have the advantage the way we do today.
that's why
But
I
that's not
said
because of us.
men.
That's because of the women.
Do you
That's why I
guys
said
think
men
that?
are the prize that women need to work on trying to catch us. We're the prize.
And also to answer that
Mm-mm.
question, FemGem, there was another clip that I meant to show when Simone was like they're very competitive towards each other. So whenever she wins at something, she will always remind him, and then he's always like, like so like they I guess they have that kind of like inside joke where it's like, yeah, you shoot your shot, you wanted me, right? And maybe it's just something between them. That's why they were smirking at each other. Like at the end of the day, we don't know. I didn't get that vibe that you observe about him not protecting her. I did hear when the interviewer had asked, so are you saying that like I don't remember the question, but he had basically said, are you saying that Simone chased you? And he was
Let
like,
the
nah,
answer.
because at first he said at first he would say that he didn't want to commit. And when he got to know her, then she changed his mind about committing. And I think that's the point that High Value Wife had brought up earlier. It's not the fact that she had to convince him, please pick me, pick me. He saw her value and he was like, yeah, I can't get this one go. Um, who
The
hasn't? I
host.
think Oscar. I think H&M didn't have a chance to talk, and then we'll just everybody to talk. You wanted to say something, Kevin?
Yeah, just real quick. The host Ryan Clark led him in the wrong direction. You know what? He knew he messed up. You know how I know he did that? He messed up because Ryan Clark himself actually put out a statement and said, "Look, there's been a lot of talk about this." Now he didn't say where he messed up. He said da 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 da, da and he talked about the rest of the interview. And he should have said, he should have took responsibility for the questions that he put out, and that kind of steered the whole thing in the wrong direction as it relates to Simone Biles and their relationship. I'm telling you, Jonathan Owens has told this story over a half dozen times. No issues or problems and all this other stuff. It's just the way that RC did it. And he's usually pretty good, but he just kind of messed up there. And that's why he actually made a clarifying statement. And I was waiting for one from Jonathan Owens, but basically him and Simone talked about it and they put out their little tweet. She backed him up. And as far as I'm concerned, if the wife backs him up, we're done with it.
And Nonya Biz, big up
That's
yourself. Long time don't say. Nonya Biz said the issue is he didn't come off as pedalizing her, as Black women are used to. Bella Ring said exactly. Stop acting like she was begging this man to be with her. I still can't get over the fact that we just talking about first initial meeting. Yeah, we just talking about first initial meeting. We don't know nothing else that happened after that 45-minute drive, and we're making all these assumptions that she was chasing him knees to chest. Like we can't be doing that. Let's get to H&M because I want H&M to get his point across, and then we can do freestyle up until the 3 hour mark. Kristen, did you get a chance to say what you had to say? I
Um,
remember
I-
putting you your own screen, but
Yeah, because it was for like a short while, but I'll let Hustle and Muscle Lily go in first, and then I'll be able to actually come by and actually speak my point of view on the whole ordeal. So I'll let him go first, and then I'll be able to go after him.
okay, no problem. H&M, how are you?
I'm doing good. Happy holidays, Chantel.
Thank you. Happy holidays. What are your thoughts on this topic? Y'all bear in mind that I am hungry. So let's for sure.
Well, damn, I just ate already. But anyways, so let me get this straight. Jonathan Owens met Simone Biles on a dating app of some sort, and I guess she made the first text message. Is that what really happened? She made the first text message, and now people
Yeah,
are
apparently
saying,
she initiated the conversation.
okay, this is something I normally advocate for. Instead of women complaining about how all men approaching women is creepy, this is harassment. How about you get off your lazy ass and go talk to the men you actually do find attractive? I've been advocating for that for some years, and that's what Simone Biles did. Now, did she chase him? No, she just put herself out there to get noticed. That's what it looked like it did to me. She put herself in a position where this guy could notice her, and then I guess from there he just carried on with the rest of the interaction. That's what I think women need to do, and especially in this modern day, in this modern era, because and it just blows me how women talk about there are no good men in the world, but yet you see a happy relationship like this, and now you want to make fun of this lovely young gymnastics woman. Seriously, because the same good men you say don't exist are not choosing your happy ass. Is that what this is about? Because if that's the case, I say let these bitter broads be angry. It's like we live in a world where traditional values are no longer held to the highest regard. So it's just
No,
it's just a big it's just a big mess. It's like the
I
sisterhood
definitely
is
agree.
the
I
sisterhood is
definitely
against
agree,
any.
and
I'm
I'm
sorry. Go
sorry.
ahead.
No, I was saying I agree, and I think it's because we heard the story and interpret it as a she chased him. I do believe that as women, especially in this whole Me Too movement, especially with how feminism is allowing us to behave. Wait for it. Can't find it. Anyways, and especially how feminism is allowing us to behave, I think it is in our best interest
Feminists, lies.
to at least initiate, right? At least put yourself out there. But go ahead.
Exactly. That's my point. I've been advocating for that for quite some years now. I don't have a problem with a woman shooting her shot, but as long as she doesn't, just like with us men, if done correctly, then yeah, you might just get, favorable results. And we talk about black love. Well, I guess the modern black woman's version of black love is a relationship where the woman is basically the head of the relationship and the man just follows like a little beta male simp. Point in case, Russell Wilson and Sierra. Another point in case, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. If it ain't that kind of dynamic, then they don't want to hear it. If it's not something like that, I guess they're not trying to hear. But that's just my take on it. And whatever this nonsense is on the screen, oh God, take that down, please. You're burning my eyes.
Oh my God.
Big of yourself, H.
My
Now,
point
all right,
exactly. So if the
Kristen, let's get
relationship
you.
is nothing like what you just saw on that screen, then hell, I guess the sisterhood don't want to hear. But and by the way,
Juicy.
some people said that he married her just for clout. He married her just
Oh
because
my
she's a
God.
gymnast. Now, isn't it true that he didn't know she was a gymnast? That's just what I hear. When he first met her, he had no idea she was a gymnast. Didn't know her background or nothing. Is that is of course I had no idea Jonathan always played football, but then again I watch football like I used to. So that means I'm gonna dark about him as well. But he had no idea she was in the gymnast.
Yeah, that's
So
correct.
who's wait,
Okay, so he probably knew of her, but he didn't really know her like that. So this guy was in college. He was in training camp. He wasn't really watching TV. He was focused on trying to
Green Bay
get
Packers.
through school, and then on top of that, and then the Olympics comes and goes, and she pops up every year or so, or every few years for the Olympics in some major competition. If you're not really following gymnastics, you wouldn't know anything about her. Because of the Olympics, I actually follow her. Right, I look at her competitions, all the other stuff. I want to see what she's going to do. And then my thing is, so where was all the support when she was going through the stuff she was going through in Tokyo? That's when everybody should have been behind her. And he was right there, in the mix, doing what he was supposed to do as a boyfriend and soon to be husband. So he was doing all the stuff he was supposed to do. Like I don't really have any issue with the guy other than the fact that he didn't shut down the interviewer when he started to make it sound, when he started to lead it in the wrong direction and make it sound like he was kind of like downplaying whatever. He said, "So are you telling me that you didn't really want Simone Biles?" I'm like, "Oh, he should have said, oh, no, it's not like that. It's not like that. It's not like that. I absolutely wanted her because I'm married to her." Like he should have been very direct, specific, and left no doubt. It's just,
But you know what?
he did
To
not
be
have a
I
fair,
choice.
can't
but I
say
guess when
that.
you're famous, you can put your business
Yeah,
out there like that sometime.
I
to
can't
be
say
fair
that. He
though,
probably handled it.
he probably wasn't expecting this backlash because coming from a place of, okay, I was asked the story, I told how we met, it was the truth, he was just being straight up. He probably wasn't expecting this much bitter woman to come at him. Let's get to Kristen.
And keep in mind, Jonathan Owens has options. Being a football star, he could have chosen any woman in his roster of women that are possibly checking for him, but instead he chose Simone Biles. So we can't say he chose her out of desperation. He chose her because he couldn't get nobody. No, he probably had a roster. I mean, when you're a celebrity of any kind, when you're in a limelight like that, you gonna have options. That goes on both Simone and Jonathan. They both got options, but the opposite sex, but they chose each other as the best option. That's just my take on it. My mic is muted. Rock out.
All
And
right.
the other thing too is Simone Biles is not a bad looking woman. I know people are kind of like trying to compare her to Will. Look. She's a nice looking
No,
lady.
she ain't
She's
bad
very
looking.
fit and in
Girl got
shape,
some courage.
and she
She ain't
and
bad
she and
looking.
she has a great
Very
and she
good
has a
looking.
great personality. Look at her in interviews. You can't help but like her. Why wouldn't he not like
Yeah,
her?
she does have a great personality. All right, Kristen, let's go to you. And then
That's a
I see
good point.
18th letter back on the panel. So we'll go to 18th letter next. Kristen, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
I got like a little bit of a real life situation as well. Like even if like a dude isn't really high value, not even making like 6 figures a year, or even has like a decent job, or even has an average job, he can literally still set standards for himself and basically the woman that he seeks. If like the woman disrespects him in any kind of way, or if the woman belittles him or anything like that, if he has like enough self-confidence literally in himself, he can literally just walk away without warning, just like this. You know what I'm saying? I want to try and relay it back to a situation where I'm actually currently working. And I was actually having like a now coworker of mine that actually works up in the medical field. She actually came by first off as a spotter. She's basically looking to actually go into medical school. She already received her undergraduate degree in health sciences. And she basically was spotting my dad, who's actually a physician doing nephrology. And she was spotting him, literally trying to get some info and actually trying to get a recommendation. So in order for actually her to actually get into the med school that she's actually in, because he's actually studying for like the MCAT at that time. And we basically were actually like just having like some brief conversation, actually getting to know each other, actually just having a little bit of fun, a little bit of humor in there. And basically, my dad actually wanted me to actually drop off one of the students home on the way back down to go on route back to the house. So I dropped her off in the house, did what I could, asked some basic questions and everything, saying that like they had some stuff going on with like, basically with like the baby, because I know she's technically like a single mom of sorts with like some messy, complicated situations, which I'll actually dig probably a little bit later on up in the story. But she came by and she actually just texted me on my number that I didn't even recognize who it was at the time. And I found out who it was, and it was basically the same girl that came by. And I didn't really pick up all like the subtle cues and everything that nature until my dad and my cousin was actually another coworker of mine actually let me know that she actually does deeply like me. And it didn't really fully show all the way up into that moment until we actually went to a DR for like a work trip for literally like a couple days. And that's when she started getting to all the crazy, messy details on like how she had like some unfortunate traumas going on basically within her life. Dealing with like having like parents that were married for a long time, still married, but literally dealt with domestic violence. The mom dealing with like the brunt of domestic violence by the father, her being to brother like domestic violence issues at times. And it was like really so much crazy that she literally ended up planning a baby before even marrying at the time with her ex at the time. And now they have like a 1-year-old son together, literally living up in like the same apartment, literally trying to save money and everything. This was like a whole crazy mess. But she told me that she wished she would have met me and my dad much earlier and everything. And literally as a week came by when she was like a now coworker and all that stuff, I kind of knew she had like all the subtle grins and all the subtle cues with all the smirks and everything. That's how I knew that she really, really does like me for sure. Now, every situation when it comes with certain relationships and certain marriages are definitely different. It's clearly like it's not like a one size fits all thing. Some cases it may have to be like one of those quick ordeals. If the woman doesn't even have any kids and really wants to get down for like that, it's like a quick, easy fix, even though she still has some traumas. But there are other cases and there's other situations where they actually want to get with you, but because they're in like so crazy, messy situations, you want to actually literally try to take things slow and still hang out with them, still spend some time with them, try to dig into the whole ordeal and let the chips fall when they may. If they have some stuff that's literally on some deep red flags, I can literally just boast out and actually just ghost them in literally any given moment when I ain't even like no warning, no craziness whatsoever, as long as I literally stay discreet. That's basically like all the most important things that you definitely have. So with Simone's situation, with Jonathan's situation, what they do, how they handle themselves in their relationship, how they built that stuff, and how they built that foundation over time is like definitely a unique situation. But for folks that really want to try and compare and try to put them in like saying, "Oh, this is how you shouldn't be doing this. Oh, this is how you shouldn't be doing all these things," trying to dictate how their relationship, how their marriage should go, it's literally asinine to me. You know what I mean? Why are you actually trying to put all your business really up in theirs and actually trying to dictate what they should do if they haven't even met your life like that? You know what I'm saying? Why waste your time dealing with those things while y'all got like husbands at home, while y'all got boyfriends at home, while you really have like in some cases wives, even girlfriends that you really try to focus on? Why focus on that situation too much if they already have like a good life coming? Why focus on some such situation and literally trying to develop some things coming and actually trying to come up with some ways or like how they can actually try and move some things going. If it does advance with those flourish at the marriage cessation tag, great. But unfortunately, things actually do fall south. And like sometimes it may be some things that are out of control. And unfortunately, there's some instances where you're literally gonna have to charge these things up in the game, you know. And I wanted to literally leave out with this, as I said before, and as I said earlier. I understand. I've seen some responders up in TikTok, and I've seen a response from like a white medical doctor, that actually is successfully married. And I know she's putting in long hours up on being a doctor up in the hospital and everything. And I commend her for the work that she's done. But I know she's saying that, with Simone saying that all the marriage is going to suffer and everything, because he's not really carooning and actually caressing her, literally swooping over her and actually giving her encouragement, while she's not literally actually digging into the whole story. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would definitely say stop worrying about what other people really got going on in the other relationships and start worrying about all the relationships they mainly have up in your household. I don't care how you run it, depending on what you do. Just leave other folks really out your mess and stop worrying about what other people are mainly doing and really focus on you and handling your stuff. Now, when it comes to someone that actually does like you and you feel like you can have like a very strong future literally ahead of them, you do whatever you can to really actually try and dig into the story. You do whatever you literally try the best you can to make sure you try and make as little mistakes as possible, even though they give you a lot of leniency. You want to try and make sure that respect is maintained. You want to try and make sure that you actually give her a much comfortable environment for her to be vulnerable with to you, for her to literally be open to you, in the hopes that something can literally blossom down the line. And whatever happens further, we could definitely strategize that later on. But if the relationship, if the respect isn't maintained, if there's like no thorough, strong foundation to hold on that's based off of love and respect and support and equitable impact, I guarantee you that relationship will literally be soon to fail. And when you literally get better on like all these people that's actually coming by, you need to actually try to look at yourself into the mirror and actually try to get yourself in some therapy. And maybe actually learn a couple of tricks and pointers really from what the couple is doing to see how you can apply it to your life. And I'm going to literally leave it at that. And as for me, with the whole situation with that little potential crush of mine that basically has a potential crush on me, we're going to definitely take a little things way, way very slow. Because I know she has like an MCAT she's actually trying to do. And I will definitely say this. I'm not going to fully commit to someone that's in like a full-time relationship unless they get themselves literally organized and literally controlled in order and they don't live literally too much in chaos. And that's really, I'm going to leave it at that. We're just going to take it one slow step at a time, and that's the best you can do.
Agree. One step at a time is definitely the best you can do. Anybody want to respond to that? Or let's wait until the 18th letter. Go and then 18th letter. What are your thoughts?
Hey, how you doing today, Miss Chantel? How's everything?
I'm doing well. Thank you for calling up.
Thank you for having me on your platform. Shout out to everybody on the panel, Mel Logic, my brother KFC, Miss High Value Wise, Miss Femsu. It's always Jermaine's fault, the brother that was just speaking. Shout out to everybody. Um, my take on this, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier. I want to shout out to the brother, Mr. Z, who actually did a video on this. When it comes down to it, it just goes to show you how a lot of these women live vicariously through these celebrities. A lot of these women live vicariously through reality television. And a lot of these women did not like his response. And I don't think it was because it was romantic enough. Um, Shout out to Miss High Value Wise, but I must disagree. I don't believe it had anything to do with romantic enough because we saw these women, these same women that are calling out Simone Biles, we saw these women not say nothing when Jody Lynn Turner's husband got up there and literally said that they had a one night stand before they met. I mean, in the process of them meeting, she pursued him. This is a woman, a black woman who already said she had issues with the color of her skin, who admitted that she had issues with jealousy of her biracial child. And none of these women said anything. None of these women had nothing to say when the woman was dating Travis Kelsey before the country singer or whatever her name is. I can't remember her name. None of these women had nothing to say about none of that. He literally got up there and told these women, told them that she paid for everything. He only gave her money for for lunch. Literally, he spent like $500 on her on that whole relationship. And shout out to the brother Accountable Commentary on that one. And literally, none of these women had anything to say about that. So it does come down to the fact that a lot of the times, and if anyone, and I encourage a lot of ladies that's on the opposite end of the perspective of like Miss High Value Wives to watch some of these content creators black male bashing videos and their content. A lot of the times, it's the fact that she was pursuing a black man. Pretty much, a lot of these women have already it's they've eternalized that black men are the lowest of the low and they're not to be pursued, or how dare a black man actually get up here and have any type of confidence in himself. When it comes down, and these are the same women that turned around and made fun of Simone Biles here, made fun of the I can't think of her name right now, made fun of the other gymnast, the other young lady made fun of
Gabby
her hair,
Douglas. Gabby Douglas.
Gabby Douglas hair, and all of these type of first and foremost, Simone Biles is not a bad looking woman at all. She's a cute young lady. Like he said, he didn't know who she was. A majority of us did not know who Simone Biles was, based off of, unless you watched the Olympics, based off of the coverage that she got during the Olympics. Majority of us did not know. Even after everything she went through in the Olympics, it was like out of sight, out of mind. And a lot of people forgot during that interview. He even said at that time he had just gotten injured. He was going through things as far as mentally on trying to get himself in top physical peak to try to make it to the NFL. So his mind was not in the stage of, oh, let me focus on. And he even said I was in my third year, and he was like, I'm thinking to myself, do I really want to pursue something because I'm in my third year? He's trying to make it to the NFL. So the idea of him trying to pursue her for clout and all of this other stuff, I find that not true at all. And I think as a man in the NFL, now he's in the NFL where people want to talk about his ranking in the NFL. He's in the NFL. He has plenty of options of women to get and to to that would chase him just based off of the fact that he's an professional athlete in the NFL. And
Can
let's
I
just
ask you
let's
a
just
question, 18th letter?
yes, ma'am.
I was just Googling while everyone was talking, trying to see when exactly they married versus like when he got drafted. It says that they got married in April and then he got drafted in May. And he was kind of like a free agent before then. So it seems like he might have been one of those, struggle kind of players, like trying to get on. I wanted to ask you, do you think if he was already in the NFL and say he maybe is on Russell Wilson's level, do you think that Simone Biles would have gotten the same outcome?
I'm not sure, and the only reason I say that because he's 28 and she's 26 years old, so they're starting off very young, and maybe it's a possibility, not, but the fact that she pursued him was enough to pique his interest into wanting to take things further with her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that's at the end, and the fact that um, like I said, I don't believe that he chose her for clout because what clout when a majority of us, I mean, of course, after Olympics, but a majority of us don't think about, oh my God, the famous Simone Biles, like we would think, some type of other athletes that's millions and millions of dollars. Nobody in average everyday life was thinking that way, and this didn't even become a media story until a lot of the women blew this up. Men was not paying
Mm-hmm.
any attention to the story at all. It was the women that blew this up that wanted to live vicariously through Simone Biles. And it's even been videos of women saying that they would have preferred Simone Biles to be with a white guy, one of these famous
Mm-hmm.
celebrity white guys. You had these women comparing him to what's his name? O'Hannon, the guy that Serena Williams is married to. Now, no one's even ever questioned the fact that Serena Williams married somebody that was not on her level. No, and then to compare him to him, like first off, that man is what, twice this young man's age, and then the fact that this is not even an athletic man. And the funny thing is, a lot of these women gush over a lot of these white guys that couldn't even hold the candle to some of the black men that they despise some of these women going for. And we all know why, because his skin makes up for the fact that he's not on a black man's level. And the fact that a black man is black is almost like a tax to him based off of the fact that that's not really what they want. A lot of these women on here are chasing after these white men, and they're chasing after an image that comes along with that. And I think it's about time for a lot of people to be honest about that. And that's something that we are not seeing. None of these women had nothing to say about any of these relationships prior, especially interracial relationships that black women were in, where their men actually spoke on something that can be deemed negative, way worse than what this young man said prior to that.
Jonathan
In the
Owens was
18th letter,
drafted in 2018, by the way. He was
in the
drafted in
18th letter,
2018.
the reason I asked you that question was because I think you also agree with mostly everyone on the panel that, it couldn't have been for clout because, of who he is. And the reason I compared him to Russell Wilson is because someone like Russell Wilson and other top level NFL players, they don't need clout, right? They're already there. But if you're at the bottom, and when I say the bottom, like no shot at him because it's still an achievement, but he's just not as highly ranked. I think his contract was like barely $1 million. So I could see him, and this is a possibility. I'm not saying that this is a fact, but he doesn't really know how his career is going to turn out. He's just out here grinding. He's trying to make it. And so that's why I leave the possibility open that it could possibly be for clout. And once again, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that's what it is, but you have to accept that as a possibility, especially with where he was at the time when he married her.
But it's
Okay,
not
so no
like
problem. So Serena Williams, her husband married her for clout, then, right? Is that the deal? Is that what we're
Well,
doing?
no, he's a
No.
billionaire.
If it's clout, then we got to put it on everybody
Exactly.
else.
No,
so.
he's
What
a
about
billionaire.
what about hold on? What about
Hold on
Tika
one second.
Sumter's husband? What about Tika Sumter's husband? He's unemployed. What about him? Why aren't black women mad at him? He's a
I
white
don't
man.
even know. I don't know
First
You
who
don't
the
off,
know Tika
husband
Sumter,
is.
though. You don't know who Tika
hold on.
Sumter is?
Tika Sumter is an
I know
actress.
her. I just don't know
So
her
why
husband.
the reason you don't know her husband is because black women aren't complaining about that. When the broke unemployed white man gets Tika Sumter pregnant, didn't even want to talk to her. She had to pursue him. She had to tell his friend to go. She had to tell his friend I like him. Got her
Mhm.
pregnant and married her, and he's unemployed today. He's broke. Black women don't complain about it. They don't bring it up. And I gave 5 examples of a similar story with black women, where black women have no problem with it, but they have a problem with this guy.
And by the way,
Another
Tika Sumter, that dude married her 5 years after the fact, not right away after she got pregnant. It wasn't like, oh, she's pregnant, I got to marry her. He's like, oh, well, I'll get around to it. 5 years later, he finally got around to it. She probably had to beg him to do that.
But KFC,
and,
I mean
and another
that's
thing, she
clearly
was
that's
actually
not good, whether he's black or white. So just the
So
situation y'all described. Mhm.
Well, so if we're gonna say John Owens, was trying to clout chase, then we got to say the thing about Gabby Sidibe's husband, Tika Sumter, Alfred Woodard's husband, Tina Turner's
Jody
husband,
Smith,
like we got to Jody Turner Smith's
But
husband. We
KFC,
got to
I
put it on all
actually
these
thought
dudes.
the same thing about Gabby
Well,
Sidibe as well.
but
I
they
mean,
should have
You never said it, period. You're saying about this
as
dude.
much
You're
noise
saying
about
it
all
without
of those
saying it.
non-black
That's the
men.
problem.
they
They
should.
should have as much
I
noise about
agree.
all of those non-black men as they do for Jonathan Owens right now.
I
Right
agree.
let
now,
me
I
just
can't
they should
help
have as
what
much
black
noise. And
women are choosing not to like. I can't help that. All I'm saying is that possibility has to be left open based on where he was when they got married. Now, if white men were doing the same thing and I knew about it and that was the topic for tonight, I'd be saying the same thing.
They are doing the same thing. If you put it on them, if you put it on John Owens, I'm putting it on the white men. I'm putting it on them because every one of those white men were not anywhere close to the level of the women that they married. Not one
I
of
want
them.
to point out something real quick before we wrap up, because the conversation is, the story is how they met, and he shared a story of how they met. Now his intentions of why he married her is being questioned because of a story he shared.
Exactly.
And I think that within itself is telling. I would love to have a lot more positive example of marriages, and to know that not everybody's story is going to sound the same. But just as long as, you know, we, as Bernard Riley said, we claim we support Black love, but then look at how we are ridiculing this couple just because their how they met story doesn't sound like how we would want it to sound.
It doesn't
With
sound
that
like a
being
Disney.
said, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It doesn't sound like a Disney movie, Miss
It doesn't
Chantel.
sound like a
That's
Disney movie, exactly.
yeah.
But
A
hey,
lot
with
of
that being said,
Go eat,
personally,
Simone. Go
I
eat.
wish them the best. I wish them the best. We have no reason to assume that their relationship is not a healthy relationship and they're both not happy. I feel like it's safer to assume that they're happy than to assume otherwise based on the screen on both of them faces, and then also how they respond to the backlash. At the end of the day, I want to say, Kevin C, you pointed out that they're young. They are a young couple, and they're just like, we talk about fairy tale, we talk about Disney. Why would we not say, yeah, they're a Disney story too. If you're a content creator, please drop your link in the channel. If mods can please drop everybody who's on the panel's link in the channel. Thank y'all so much for calling up. As I always say, we don't have to agree, but at least we were respectful. High value wives and fem gem, big up yourself. Thank you for calling up and stirring up, bringing different perspectives to the conversation. All the men on the
Thank you.
panel, as always, big up y'all self. Thanks for being in here. I'm gonna wrap up because y'all know. Let me tell you why I forgot to eat. Because I'm preparing to cook some escovitch fish and festival tomorrow, and that's my first
Yeah,
time going to
baby.
be making festival. And so I was like out in the grocery store getting all the recipe like to the T. I was getting, and it's my first time making escovitch fish. So I was like, and then I had to rush back for the stream and stuff. But tomorrow we're making some escovitch fish, so we could eating good
But
tomorrow. Hopefully,
Chantel,
Is the big
but
dinner
Chantel,
tomorrow? Is that when everybody's doing the big dinner? We're doing our big dinner tonight. Is that when y'all do it?
I'm not doing no big dinner. I just cooking.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're doing the big dinner tonight. Everybody's coming over tonight. The only
but
reason I'm on here with y'all is because the wife is out, and once she gets back, then it's on.
but Chantel, you know, Chantel, you know, I made dumplings though, right? I don't know why you ain't tell me you was hungry before. I made dumpling and everything.
Boiled dumpling or fried dumpling?
Boiled, of course. It's dinner time.
You save some to refry it in the morning. You're saving some for fries because you already know that's the best dumpling. Well, big up all of y'all. Thank you so much for coming up. Again, if you guys are content creators, please drop your channel in the chat and I'll go ahead and post it. All right.
Good night,
Oh,
Take
everyone.
care, guys.
before I leave,
Peace, y'all.
before I leave, I want to give Fem two best game advice right now before she leave. Two advice. Number one, stop overthinking so much.
Okay.
Two, just do. You see someone you like, make your move. Just do it.
Shoot your
Take a
shot,
chance.
girl.
No
You know
matter
that
what.
you guys know about slingshot. I think Americans call it something else. If a Jamaican can tell me what Americans call it, the slingshot. Shoot your shot. Close one eye and shoot your shot, girl. I'm talking.
Was
I'm
that
talking. I just said I'm talking and I'm not doing it.
was that 18?
and I'll just
Hey,
I
Fem
can't.
Gems. Yeah, Fem Gems, really quick before I go, send me a DM if you're on Instagram or Facebook. If you could send me a message.
Gosh, thank you guys for helping me out. I love this. Thank you. Any way I can improve
No.
better, I'm here for it. Thank you all so much for the criticism, just all of the wealth of knowledge. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I love y'all, beautiful black people. I love y'all. I love y'all, black men. I love you, black ladies. Mwah.
love you
Appreciate
too.
you.
All right,
Appreciate
thank
you.
you
Fem.
guys.
Don't be afraid
Yeah.
to use your
So
sexual
sweet.
wiles also too to get that man that you like.
And
Don't listen to that. Do not listen to that. Do not
Okay.
listen to that.
say this.
Listen, y'all remember when I said we got
Use
to
that
go?
sexual aura to get that man you like,
All right.
girl.
All right, bye guys. Shout out to everybody who came up. Shout out to everybody who tuned into the conversation. I saw the cash apps were coming in, but as I said earlier, listen, I got to go. Okay, I got to go. Shout out to all of y'all. Thank y'all so much for supporting. I see if you're still in here. Teddy Fresh had a special request, and I pull it up to do it tonight, and then I absolutely forgot. If you're still in here, Teddy Fresh, pick up your simp. As I said, at the end of the day, it's very telling just how much like emotions is involved in this conversation when it's really them sharing how they met. They're sharing a how they met story. What this guy was supposed to get up there and lie. He was supposed to get up there and say, oh, he messaged her first when that did not happen. At the end of the day, let us spread love. Let us spread positivity, and let us acknowledge that, hey, this is a young couple who doing their thing, and they're in love, and they're going to have time to figure it out. They're going to grow together. They're going to evolve together, and they're going to become better together. Instead of waiting until she's 40 and post wall with a couple long titties, what she did, she got herself a husband at a young age. Like, she happy. In Jamaica, we say she not coughing, but we over here throwing up. Right? She's happy, but we over here pissed off as hell. Why? Because their story didn't go how we expected their story to go. Come on.
Stop it. Get some help.
I do want to go live tomorrow to discuss the color purple because 18th letter, shout out to you, the 18th letter. 18th letter messaged me a clip that I was like, oh wow, this is worse than I thought. If y'all know, Game Changer and I did a review to the color purple. I was reacting to Shugs and Sophia, the All My Life I Got to Fight lady.
All my life I had to fight.
And after that stream, the 18 letter sent me a video that I'm like, dang, we really need to talk about this. So I might go live tomorrow. No promises. As I said, I'm going to be making my Escovitch Fish and Festival. K-Couple said I shouldn't burn the festival. If I burn the festival, my uncle going to come for me. So I'm not going to burn the festival. Promise. Or going to try my best to not burn the festival. But if I have time before we get in the kitchen tomorrow, I am going to come on and talk about, just review the clip that the 18th letter sent. Again, shout out to everybody who is in here. Shout out to everybody who hit the like button. If you guys haven't already, please go ahead and hit the like button. Shout out to everyone who donated to the channel. You didn't have to do anything.
I'm just trying to figure out who trying to get flued out there. You trying to get flued out, bitch, or what, bitch? Yo, with you, man.
Kelvin said the original color purple did enough to destroy black men's historical reputation. Yes, exactly. And they knew this. Oprah herself knew this. And what she run go do? Go remake the movie. That is very telling just how much she does not care. Jason said no rum cake. Of course, rum cake. Is it Christmas without rum cake and cereal? Excuse me? Of course there's rum cake. It's a knockoff rum cake though, because I didn't get to go back home. I didn't get to go home for some real rum cake. So it's a knockoff rum cake, but it will do. Anyways, have a Merry Christmas if you celebrate it. Have a great day off if you don't. Thank y'all so much for pulling up. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button. I can't thank y'all enough. I can't thank y'all. I can't tell y'all how much I appreciate those of y'all who show up stream after stream to listen to me talk. I appreciate y'all so much. Hit the like button on our way out, and y'all will see me tomorrow, maybe. No promises though, but maybe. Have a good one, y'all. Yardley, you missed the live. Yardley. Oh, he said was at a holiday party. Listen, Yardley, I did the live because of you. I did the live because of you, and you come on the last minute, but it will be a great rewatch for you. So enjoy the rewatch. Thank you so much for supporting. All right, guys. Thank you so much, El Turner. Have a great holiday season, y'all. I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Hopefully tomorrow, but if not, sometime next week. Take care.
Stop it. Get some help.
Why would you say that?
Fix it.
Why would you say that?
I am the table. I am the table. I am. Get to the chopper.
Red.
flag when nothing no red flag when no see.
Simp.
Rest your front, rest your brain, rest your body.
Man, this is some bullshit.